Our own humanity is improved by our interaction with other animals. And is your husband not an animal? The 12th rule in Jordan Peterson's book, The 12 Rules of Life, is again, on the face of it, frankly frivolous. It's stroke a cat whenever you see one in the street. Now, there's a lot to be said for this psychologically that Dr. Peterson can go into in way more detail. And again, I refer you back to his lecture series and read the book itself. But from a supernatural point of view, I think the message that can be still distilled from this rule is one of thanks, one of gratitude. Take the opportunity to appreciate what's in front of you. It's not often that a cat runs in front of you, at least not a domestic cat. And when it does, take the opportunity to appreciate it for what it is, because it's rewarding for both you and the cat. The cat purrs. It enjoys it. It wants the attention. What happens if that's a child? What happens if it's your wife or your husband? Do they not like attention too? Is it not more pleasing for them to know that you care by a tactile touch? Touching seems to connect us in a way that just words don't. It's what bonds us together. And therefore, I think what Dr. Peterson is saying is, for our own sake, we need, in order to build up that reciprocal arrangement where I touch you in order then to be touched by you, we need to be appreciative of the world around us. We need to take the time to look at and marvel at what God has given us. To look at something as simple as a cat and say, it's a cat. And in so doing, to connect with that cat in a tactile way. It's why we see so much emphasis being placed on pet therapy. It's because it works. Our own humanity is improved by our interaction with other animals. And is your husband not an animal? Are your children not little animals? So perhaps then, by appreciating them and reaching out and touching them, you can learn something about yourself and be a better person than the one you were yesterday. In that striving for perfection, the goal always has to be that grand narrative told in the book of Genesis, that after the fall of man, there is hope given for a resurrection, for a transcendence beyond this physical plane into a supernatural plane so mysterious that no one has dared even to write it down. And in so doing, we come to this mystical understanding of who we are here and now. And the chaos of the world, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that surround us, are put within a proper understanding of context. A proper understanding that Sisyphus is a better man for rolling his rock up the hill again and again, because the struggle is itself worth something when put in that supernatural component. And that's, I think, what Jordan Peterson is trying to do. I don't think he's Catholic. I don't think he's in any way about to become Catholic. But I think a lot of Catholicism can be reduced down to these natural components first, in order then to be supernaturalized and perfected. And unless we get the natural right, we know that the supernatural can easily be deformed. Grace builds on nature. So, I refer you back to Dr. Peterson's book, The 12 Rules of Life. I think it's an awesome way of explaining what should be common knowledge and common sense to all of us, but in this day and age is so lacking. Take time to study who you are. Look at where you've been. Look at where you're going. And if that's not ordered towards God, then look out. Be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel, and thanks very much for watching. God bless.